agenda. What is data quality? Why is it important? Why should I care about it? And then understanding kind of data quality, how we think about it here at Redpoint and in our Redpoint CDP. So if you attended the last session, we're kind of following the same pattern, right? Rather than giving you our Redpoint definition necessarily of data quality, kind of wanted to pull the leading market analysts, right? What industry level thinking is there around data quality? So there is certainly some parallels drawn here, right? CDP and Institute and Gartner both talk about accuracy, completeness, consistency, and really usability, understandability, but ultimately saying data can be used effectively. So why is this important? Why should I care about it, right? So I guess starting from the very beginning, right, improve decision-making. And this is understanding how you can better communicate with your customers and campaigns, right? If you don't have high-quality data that you're able to leverage within downstream campaigns or in-person interactions, you're not going to make the best decisions in terms of how you can work with and speak with all of your various constituents. Next, again, enhance customer experience, right? Leads right from that improved decision-making, right? Having that accurate data will allow you, the organization, to create the best possible experience for our customers and constituents. The next one, we love saving money, right? Efficiency and cost savings. So we need to make sure that all of our data is in good shape and we have the best possible, most up-to-date, most valid and complete data for all of our customers. Stronger brand reputation, right? Really having that reliable data will ensure that all of your communication is going to be based on facts. So this will foster trust and transparency. And then from there, compliance and privacy. So ultimately, having that data quality practice within your organization and understanding where your data comes from, how it's treated, how it's stored, and really minimizing the data that you have, right? Not keeping all of this extraneous data is going to help immensely when you get into areas of compliance and privacy. So let's talk about what kind of terms do we get going on here?
And we got some terminology for, data quality, right? And we talked about that accuracy, completeness, consistency, validity, timeliness. So I just kind of wanted to level set, right? This is sort of the broad strokes definitions of what data quality are, right? So accuracy, are the data correct? Are they free from errors? Do they reflect really what the value that they represent, right? Completeness is just about, are all the holes filled, right? Or all the necessary data there? Consistency, right? This is all around formatting and definitions and standards, right, throughout the data set. So being able to create a standard across those data sets is going to improve the quality of the data. Of course, validity, right? Obviously you want to do all the validation and make sure that the data fall within the ranges and expected values and the data types and the sort of structures that you expect. And timeliness sort of, in my mind, is something that is overarching, right? If you're not using the most up-to-date data, then that can erode a customer's trust in the brand, right? It can erode the customer experience. So these are sort of the terms that are out there. This aligns back with what the analysts are saying what data quality is. So if we were to kind of talk about data quality within the Redpoint CDP, what we want to talk about is what do we do to the data? How do we see the world, and how does that align with those sort of terms that make up data quality? So the way that we sort of see the world and the way that we sort of approach the ingestion of the data, the processing of the data, and ultimately making it available within the CDP, very first thing we think about is validation, right? We check everything, right? Every record, every column, and make sure it conforms to the definition of what we expect, right? So if we think about that sort of parallels a couple of those data quality terms, right? So it's all about accuracy. Are the data correct, right? Is it consistent, right? Is it the structure, the format we expect? And of course, is it valid, right? Is it in the expected range? Is it one of an expected value, right? Next, we'll profile the data, right? For me, this is all about looking at a point in time, saying this is sort of the makeup of the data. But as we capture those points and times, we begin to build out a time series snapshots of the data as they come in. So we get an idea of completeness and consistency. We can actually look across time and start to see some patterns, or maybe even anomalies in the data, right? So, these are sort of things, these activities we perform on the data allow us to see things before they become a bigger problem, right? So when we talk about data hygiene, this is really us taking some of the critical elements of those data. We do correction and completion, right? So these are sort of things we do. What does that do? What improves the quality? It creates that consistency, right? And then, of course, we obviously know it's valid, right? Next is data integrity. What that involves is really us making sure all of the pieces tick and tie. If we were to think about this from like a data model perspective, it would be, do we have those sort of primary key, foreign key type of relationships? Do we have proper parent and child relationships, right? We don't want to orphan records by loading the child in with no corresponding parent. So, rather than kind of orphaning the record, and then we're able to properly join those up, create the connection, and now we have we maintain the integrity of the data within the CDP. And then finally, kind of sitting above all of that is observability. Right, this is the ability to look through a UI and see, all of these elements displayed in a way that users, whether that be a marketing user, a data analyst, an operations user, can make decisions on what they do next. So observability is a really, really key aspect in data quality, right? Being able to take all of that information and present it in a way that someone can make informed decisions, right? Depending on what their persona is within the overall user base. We've talked about data quality. It's like, where do we go? Where do we start? Where do we start to do an assessment of our data quality? And I think the first thing you need to do is you need to determine your business outcomes and data, right? You need to understand, what you want to do. What do you want to do, and how is data quality important to that, right? And then from there, you need to identify, what do I actually already have in place? What processes, what tools do I already have in place to maintain my data quality? And I think finally, you just got to define an initiative to implement data quality as a standard operating procedure, right? As you ingest data, there is, as we talked about, there's a certain number of things you need to do to improve the data quality, to verify the quality of the data, and ultimately give your users confidence. So this is just something that I believe is absolutely critical to the development and the building out of a CDP. So hopefully those that you're watching will appreciate how important data quality is.